Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the September 4th, almost September 5th edition of Comic Relievers. This is episode 8. We are calling it the Wild Wild NL West. It has been quite some time since we've seen you guys. We are all happy to be back. You've heard it all before. This time we are looking to build some consistency here and get this thing going. We seem to have our schedules lined up, and I swear this is the last time you'll hear this. Boys, can we all at least agree we're trying? We're trying.
I think it's funny because I think we've started like 4 episodes like that.
Well, the ironic thing is that that's our consistency.
That we're at least consistent with something.
What's the definition of irony?
We have to consistently apologize for our inconsistency.
Good enough for people to at least accept that, because if not, out of half of our episodes we're apologizing, so we're not off to a hot start, but at least we're consistent. So boys, let's get right into it. It's late one tonight. Tonight we're just going to do a typical opening type episode. We'll chime in when we can. Obviously not enough time to get into everything that we want to get into. We've missed some time. This is a crucial part of the season, so we definitely have a lot to get to. So we'll just we'll do a quick version, and we'll get into everything later on this week. We're going to do a second episode this week for everybody. This episode will be posted again tomorrow for those who couldn't stay up to watch it with us. But let's just get going, as we always do. We'll start off in the AL East. The Red Sox. Going into tonight, we're up 3.5. They obviously pulled off a win against the Braves since Joe came home at midnight. So we had some time to see that game get a finish. It's still early September. Got about 4 weeks left of the regular season. Obviously, you can't say that one's locked up by any means. They had an 8.5 game lead going into the night. Now we're talking at least 9, if not 9.5. I don't know how the Yankees did. They were actually on now playing Oakland. That's a kind of huge series. We'll get into that in a little bit. Moving to the Central, more of the same. Pretty much no competition there going into tonight. Cleveland had a 14-game lead over Minnesota, who's lost 8 of their last 10 games. Not looking to build any momentum there. And in the AL West, again, tonight's episode is titled Wild Wild West. We have a little bit of fun going on in both the AL and NL West. A little bit more up front in the AL. Houston's leading by 2.5 right now, but we have a red-hot Oakland A's team. Again, 2.5 games back there. If the season were to end today, the Red Sox would be in. Yankees and Oakland would be facing off, and Cleveland and Houston playing as well. The winner of Oakland and New York would obviously face the Red Sox. That's if everything ended today. With everything that's been going on, we can't really put a solid.
Like, you high right now?
No, it's midnight. I got work tomorrow.
Jesus, buddy.
Listen, I waited up for you. You can't be mad at me.
So I'm not mad at you. I just think it's funny. You can't even put a sentence together right now.
It's a hard life.
Too tired.
I don't like working.
So who do you think takes the wild card when it's all said and done?
To be honest, I don't see Seattle making a push to catch up to Oakland as long as Oakland continues playing the way they are. Quite frankly, if Oakland can stay at this rate, I can see them knocking off the Yankees in the 1-game playoff. That would be tough. You would obviously have Severino going for the Yankees. Been up and down. Can't really predict that. Obviously, that's their best option, though, in a win-or-go-home type game. The A's, though, are a complete staff right now. Everything's really working for them on both ends of the ball. I'd say if it ended today, Oakland would be playing the Red Sox. Cleveland would be playing Houston. And then we'd have to see from there. I think the Sox could take Oakland in a series. I think Houston would beat Cleveland, and we'd be at a showdown of the two big dogs in the American League from this season. Houston and the Sox. I mean, I still think the Red Sox got that in 7. I don't know. Another thing I want to get into in later on in the week when we have another episode is Houston, which I know my boy Zach will appreciate. My boy Breg, he's got that mean stare down going with the boys in the dugout and everything going on. They recently incorporated curling into those celebrations, which was absolutely hilarious. But I mean, Houston's rolling. Obviously, them and Boston go 7 games. Either one, I mean, take your pick. They're both having great seasons. The staff in Houston's unreal. Red Sox are having a great year. They're almost at 100 wins. I mean, that's a toss-up. But
Do you
I'd say
think it's out of those two right now? Like, I'm saying, do you think they are the two?
Yes, facts. I mean, I will say Cleveland has made some very important additions, both be it at the trade deadline and the waiver deadline, whatever you want to call that. I think they've really solidified their roster. I mean, you know, Andrew Miller's had a quite an off season compared to his standards, be it with injuries and consistency. But I mean, I think they've put themselves in a place where they can at least deal with him not being 100% healthy, not being able to use him the way they have in the past postseasons. Their pitching staff, their starting rotation is obviously up there with Houston and the Red Sox right now. All of them have postseason experience. I like what they've brought in. I like what they have from the past couple seasons of successful rosters. That core is still there. I mean, I think they're going to be tough to beat in the postseason. I don't think it would be a cakewalk when they play Houston, but I think Houston's a stronger team. Yeah, I'd have to say Boston and Houston are the go-tos right now. I haven't seen anybody else that can prove them otherwise. I mean, Oakland's playing hot, but I don't think they've done it long enough. They've got 83 wins, but I mean, the Yankees have 86, and they're 8.5 back, probably a little more.
How many do you think the Red Sox finish with?
Tonight was 96. I'm going to give them 109, 110. Figured they'll lose a few in September. They'll give a couple guys some days off.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily agree with it, but, you know, Core knows. I have faith in them.
They have 6 of those games are against the Yankees, and they've looked real good against the Yankees so far.
Yeah, they got a series coming up with Houston, couple with the Blue Jays and Orioles, quick one with the Mets, and obviously they're at the Braves right now. I mean, it's definitely not the easiest. They got a couple that they should absolutely walk away with. I think they have to sweep both the Baltimore and Tampa series. Not for nothing. I mean, it's a long shot, but the Rays technically have been playing well and are not out of contention of that final wild card spot. Again, that is a long shot, but you know, those are some games down the stretch that the Red Sox have to pull away and really separate themselves because they don't want to let the Yankees hang around.
I think that Braves team is fun to watch.
Absolutely, man.
Those dudes are fun to watch.
They're going to be good for a couple years. It's kind of crazy to see. And I mean, if you look, I was looking earlier. I don't remember the exact numbers off the top of my head, but going into the season, I want to say they were like a 1 in 175 to even make the postseason, something ridiculous like that. And I mean, they've been back and forth 1 and 2 in the top of the division the entire season. Really, other than the first few weeks, it's kind of nobody started coming. Obviously, it's good for baseball. You get to see more of the young guys really take over the game. I think we're going to be seeing that from a few teams next few years. Obviously, it's tough to say right now with the few powerhouses in the league that we do have, but I think it's pretty evident that some of the younger guys are coming up and solidifying themselves, and they're going to make a name for themselves quick.
So, Mikey, talk a little bit about the fat head on the wall that I'm looking at.
Yeah, I was wondering the same thing. Let's go wait for that to come up.
I thought we talked about this before, but we may not have. This is me when I was 12. My grandmother thought that it would be a good gift to get a picture of me pitching in an AAU tournament put as a fathead for my Christmas gift. So that's 12-year-old Mikey pitching in Myrtle Beach. We won a championship.
Is that life-size 12-year-old Mikey?
No, it is not. I mean, not far off. I was short and stubby back then, but that is a little bit condensed. So give or take a few inches there.
Joe, did you go through a fat phase in Little League?
A fat phase or a
Yeah.
fat head phase?
Fat phase.
No,
Oh,
I wasn't fat.
I
I was
did.
never fat.
I did. Oh yeah.
I had a fat phase. Like I was chubby.
Yeah, we it was like my whole team. We were all like really skinny in 7, 8, and then 9 through 12. Whew.
Yeah, I was always like the athletic fat kid. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't ever not athletic, but I was definitely chunky.
I'd had a tough time fitting through this door.
That bad?
Oh man, fat kids, something.
Fat kids back in the day. I guess we outgrew it a little bit. I got mine coming back a little. All right, but let's keep this rolling. Moving to the NL East team we were just speaking about, the Braves. They're actually 4 games ahead of Philadelphia for the first spot in the NL East. Again, I had said it early on. Philadelphia's been kind of shaky past 10, but I mean the Nationals have just been a disappointment. The Mets fell off. Miami's nothing. I mean, maybe Philly can pull off that wild card spot in the NL, but there's more on that.
Wild card.
Wild card.
I'm 80. Yeah, I was 80% sure that you said wild card.
I said wild card.
Zach, can I get a check down with third base on that one?
That's Joe with the locker room inside information right there.
Yeah.
Maybe I'm too tired. I don't know. Go ahead. Continue.
Good, thanks. You done? So in the Central, Cubbies got a 4-game lead over Milwaukee, but the Cardinals not far behind. Been playing great as of late, 5.5 back. Kind of thought Milwaukee would be more up to the top, especially with the year Yelich is having. I don't know, the Cubs team. They're built to perform both in the regular and postseason. I feel like their record really doesn't show what they can do in October. To be honest with you, in my opinion, right now they have the deepest lineup and pitching rotation out of any National League team. I don't know if Milwaukee will catch them or if they'll be able to get a wild card spot. But to be quite honest with you, the Cubs are built to, withstand a starter going 2-3 innings, giving up a few runs. They can throw 2 or 3 guys out there to eat up innings and eat them up without giving up runs. I mean, that's the way postseason ball has been played the past few years. And I think Theo knows what he's doing, knows how to build that team up over there. I think they're a team to watch for sure going down the road. As long as they can keep up this pace, win that division, I really see them going deep into the postseason. I don't know. Unless you think otherwise, I really don't see Milwaukee catching up to them unless they get real hot and they can finish out on like a pretty big win streak.
No, I'm kind of with you.
Yeah.
Hey, how are the Phillies?
The Phillies are well. We just
doing
talked about
good.
They're okay. They're not doing too well past few games, but
Just checking in.
Second place. I wasn't far off there.
No,
but nobody would have predicted Atlanta. To be quite honest with you, that's really.
They're not. I mean, they're not far behind the Braves.
No. Only 4 games, and the Braves actually lost tonight. I don't know how Philly did. They were playing the Marlins, so could be as little as 3 games now.
With the amount of games left, you got to think what Nola's going to get maybe 3 more appearances.
I'd say 3, maybe 4 at the most.
Yeah,
he's got to. I mean, not that he wouldn't, but he's got to really bring it home for the boys.
Yeah.
Hey, let's quickly let's go back to the fathead topic real quick.
Yep.
What fatheads did you have other than that one? Did you guys have any?
Yep.
Nice.
That's a cool setup.
All right.
I've never had any.
Yeah,
Really?
that was big back in my childhood days. Kids in the neighborhood compared fatheads. That was our thing.
Joe, what'd you have?
That was a joke, Zach. That was a joke.
Mikey out here comparing his fat head. So I had David Ortiz
Yeah.
and LaDainian Tomlinson.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Throwback.
Ooh.
I was a big LT guy. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, he was a beast.
I'm surprised the face mask never caught on more.
With LT?
Yeah.
What do you mean? The
Yeah.
blackout?
Hold on. I'm gonna see if I can pull up a picture of it.
Yeah, please do.
We got time.
I'll show you what I'm talking about.
No, seriously. Seriously.
I don't know if
Let's-
you'll be
let's
able to
see.
see it. But you see how it's. Do you see what I'm talking about? It's just it's tight.
like
It's
the-
like extra
like the-
bars. Yeah.
Yeah, like the Bane mask.
Yeah. I thought it was so cool.
Kind of looks Bane-ish. It's kind of badass. I've
Yeah.
never seen that before, to be honest.
I mean, you can't rock that unless you put up numbers like he did.
Yeah, I mean, you have to be LT to pull that off. But I just remember as a kid, I was like, God, that thing is so cool.
Yeah,
But
I
then
don't
no
know.
one did it after him.
He was kind of the guy who made the shield cool too over the
Yeah.
mask.
Behind
Yeah. It was
I have a question while we're on this topic. Is there a better Madden player than Mike Vick on the Falcons?
Well, the thing with Vic was you were like 40% chance of just fumbling every single tackle.
Yeah, that's true.
So you
Or
had
a 60% chance of scoring.
oh yeah, for sure. You had to hit the sideline.
Yep.
And just hope that you didn't get tackled.
He was out. It was not fair. You almost wanted to quit if someone else got him in the randoms.
Yeah.
PA
Oh, yeah,
rollout.
Yeah.
Did they have one?
Not fair.
Yeah.
I used to play whenever I was real young. I played the Dreamcast game with Randy Moss on the cover.
Ooh, the Vikings one?
Yes, and you would just straight fly route, hot route every single play, throw it as far as you could.
And he caught it.
Tutters all day.
I remember when I was younger, I'd just throw the opposing team on like rookie or whatever the lowest thing is. You get the meanest and baddest offense that you could find and just throw streaks all day long. See if you put up 100 points by the end of the day.
That's not fun.
Run the score up.
Yeah, run the score up. I remember going into like practice mode and making sure they had like a punt return on, and I'd just throw a quick slant and run the entire distance. I'd beat one guy and feel good about myself and be like, all right, you know what? I can do this for another 20 tries, and then I'd get tired of it. But yeah, I was one of those guys.
I miss the mini games. I wish they would bring back more of those. Like when you play NCAA, they would have the option mode where it'd be someone was controlling the defense and you could only run options. I used to do that. We used to just do that all day.
Cannot say I ever did that.
Oh man, that was my favorite.
I don't know.
That was back when they had playlists.
When they had what?
Every Madden game is the same that comes out, in my opinion. They just tweak a little something.
Yeah.
All right, let's finish it off. We got the other Wild West division here. This is where it gets kind of cool. The Rockies had a half-game lead going into the night over the Dodgers. The Diamondbacks were only a game and a half behind the Rockies as well. Between those three teams, really, it's been back and forth all year. Whenever one team has kind of solidified themselves, they then have a stretch about a week or so of just looking like they just don't care, and another team takes over. They've been going back and forth. You know, Colorado's got the slight edge now, to be quite honest with you. I don't think anybody could pick the winner of that division right now. I don't think Colorado is definitely going to win. They very well could, but I don't think they will be in first place for the remainder of the season. I think it'll continue to go back and forth. But that's also where the wild card situation could be kind of interesting, because that would be probably aside from maybe the NL East, the only chance of us having kind of a tiebreaker game to even get into the wild card. Um, and it could be any of the three teams, really. Again, half game separates the first two teams, and only a game separates the second and third team. I mean, again, 4 weeks left, a lot of baseball. Doesn't seem like it, but
with Dodgers and Rockies playing the next series.
I mean,
and then another series down the road.
That is
so like, both teams pretty much just control their own destiny.
It literally. I mean, that's what, 6 if not 8 games. That's huge.
Yeah.
There'd be 25, 26 left maybe. That's a third of them right there. I mean, we all know how well the Dodgers did last year. I mean, are they built to do it again? Sure. But the Rockies just have that type of that grit where late in the year they all want it. They all kind of rekindled that working towards one goal type of atmosphere. Similar to Oakland, the way they're playing right now, they're just, they're streaky, but when they need to win, they're winning. And it's a ton of different guys getting together to do the job. It's fun to watch in Colorado right now. Obviously, the Dodgers are buying a lot of their wins or trading a lot for a lot of their wins, but I mean, what they're doing is working. Hopefully, I mean, last year would be a great way to model their postseason aspirations for this year. But again, that's something I wanted to speak to you guys most about coming into tonight is what do you think if we ended up seeing a tiebreaker game, if not by one, then a 3-way tiebreaker just to determine the division winner before we even got into wildcard talks?
How do they even decide that? I don't know how that works.
I mean, I'm not even going to lie to you. I tried my best to follow it, and some guy from ESPN tried breaking it down, and it still really wasn't too clear to me. But, I mean, long story short, if they finish in a tie, first it comes down to, obviously, head-to-head matchups to determine who would get home field during the tiebreaker game. If it was a 3-way tie, it would be again with the head-to-heads between the two teams, not just the one each. I mean, it's a lot of shit that goes into it, and quite frankly, that would be the only chance we would, again, other than maybe the NL East, if Philly can close that gap quick. There is like a very serious chance of seeing at least 2 of those teams finishing up the year with the same record.
Hey, Mikey.
Yeah.
Quickly, before we move on to another topic, can you show the binder that you put together in the last couple of days?
Oh, did we not show this? I just showed you guys.
No. You just showed us.
Yeah, so I've been I finished up school. For those that don't know, that's partially the reason my attendance has been spotty. But I finished it up last week, transferred those credits over, and since then I've put together what I like to call the Comic Relievers binder of ideas here. The beginning, kind of organizing stuff for tonight's episode, September 4th. We got some stuff here. I mean, can you guys see? We're thick.
So how many days is that?
To be honest with you, this is really only information from like the past 3 days, but I've been keeping my eye on stuff so that I knew what I wanted to look into. A lot of the stuff that we're going to talk about on the next episode, sort of like the smaller stories, more individualized stuff, that's really coming from the past week or so. I have been a very bored man. I don't know what to do with my free time. I missed you guys. I was very excited for this day. As you can tell, I kind of hopped right into this episode tonight. I mean, I usually do. I talk a lot, but I was excited for tonight's. I had a little bit extra preparation going in, and
we just got a chat in. Our friend Lewis said he'll buy that binder for $5.
I don't want $5.
He said starting bid $5.
I don't want it.
So I think what happens now, Mikey, is that he has the rights to it, right? Because he's the highest bidder currently. So I think you have to outbid him to keep your binder. I don't know the rules. I didn't read all the tiebreaker procedures, but I think that's what it is.
Those are the rules.
The item had to be placed up for auction. Is that not the rule, or is it just?
All right, then. Better question. What would it take to sell that binder? What's your price?
Probably the same amount of weed I'm going to smoke when this is over.
Is Zach frozen, or is he just stuck like this?
Am I frozen?
For a second. No, he's
good. No, you're good now. You were literally just like this for like 15 seconds.
Yeah, so I guess I will say a good time is all it would take to pry this thing off my hands, but I don't want your measly $5. Take a lot more sentimental value than that, Mr. Lewis.
What was the binder? Is he looking for the content in the binder, or is he looking for the actual binder?
I think he wants the binder. That's our first possible souvenir. That's our first on live show piece of memorabilia from Comic Relievers. That's worth more than $5.
That's true. It's worth like 7 or 8.
Yeah, I'd even go maybe $9.50.
Really?
Yeah, we might not quite 10 because we haven't even done 10 episodes in 10 weeks. So
I'm stopping. I'm putting the ceiling at 8 because it's not even a printed cover page. You just like Sharpied Comic Relievers on the front.
That's kind of cool because every single page has a plastic cover, so you can fuck right off, bud.
It's way more authentic if it has his handwriting on it, right?
It was neat. I tried my hardest.
Let's see. Show me again.
It really wasn't that bad.
It actually looks very good. It looks like you may have printed it.
See? You would have never known.
Wow, Mike, you're really like a chick.
I've been told.
See, so Mikey was hiding how much work he had done underneath, right? It's like the swimming duck thing. I, on the other hand, I keep a pen in my hand for the look that I've actually done stuff. But if you really look at this table, it's blank. There's nothing going on down here.
See, at least
I look like I'm taking notes.
Now,
I'm the opposite.
I'm sorry to cut you off, but I need everyone to know because you at least play the part and want people to think you're working. Joe told us earlier in the day, yeah, let's get an episode up. Let's do it. And I'm like, all right, let's do it. Zach's like, yeah, let's do it. Right? He's like, I got this function, it could be big for us. We'll talk about that news when it's more solidified. But, I got big news. I said, okay, Joe, okay. All right. I'll see you guys 9:45, 10-ish. All right. I'm like, okay, Joe. All right. So now I texted Zach. I said, Zach, he said 9:45, 10. So I said at least 10:30. And that's a fact. Zach can confirm that. Now, we did not start tonight till near midnight. Joe walked away because he knows the cold truth.
He doesn't want to hear it. He doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah. So at least Zach pretends.
I'm done here. I'm done here. I'm quitting. It's over. Walking away. Someone drank my waters, and it's really hot in here, and the acoustics aren't what I want, and it's not perfect. And I don't know.
We get it. All right. So before we get into our chit chat, last little piece of cool information from my binder that I want to get to tonight, because I printed out the most recent power rankings just to see what they were thinking. So our experts over at ESPN got the Sox, Astros, Yankees, Cubs, Athletics, and Dodgers in the top 7. Following out the top 10 is the Brewers, Cardinals, Indians, and Braves. To be quite honest with you, there's not much about this power rankings I agree with. Just based on the last 30 games, let alone 10. To be quite honest with you, obviously you can't say the Red Sox aren't at the top. Houston's up there for sure, but I got Oakland, Tampa Bay, the Cubs, and Cleveland all with better records, and even the Mets than the Yankees, who are ranked far too high on my list. just this past week. They had a 3-4 home series against both the White Sox and Tigers. That is terrible. The Yankees are the Yankees. They're always going to get the benefit of the doubt. And to be honest with you, I think the Athletics could be as high as 2, if not 3. Cubs, I guess, are okay at 4. The Dodgers, I don't think, should be that high. I think the Rockies and Cardinals should be above them. To be quite honest with you, Atlanta maybe as well. Cleveland is starting to turn it around. But I kind of just wanted to run that by you guys. In case you got any questions, I got the last 30 games record for all those teams listed, as well as a few more. But what would you guys say is at least the top 5? Give me a top 5 teams in the league going into the month of September. That's
Top
a lot.
5?
I know. Yeah, just give me top 5.
I mean, I don't think anyone would disagree with Red Sox at 1.
Mm-hmm.
I would also put Astros at 2.
Mm-hmm.
Houston's definitely 2.
Yes.
Just based off what they can do, even if they're not. I mean, are we talking like based off the last couple of games, or are we talking in general? Who is the scariest team going into
the month of September? Not what they have done, not what they could do going into the month of September. See, this is where I figured I'd stump you guys.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, because you're coming off of that part to where it's like,
well, yeah, because if we're talking about going in, then if we're talking like the last couple of games here, the Sox wouldn't even really be there because they just went on a pretty decent losing streak.
The season takes those waves, and I feel like that is going into September is the end of most teams' last dip, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
All right, so let me try and reword what I'm saying then. With current records included and the way they've been playing as of late, not just solely based off the last 10 games or so, including their records and the position they're in, not what they could do, but going into the month, who do you think's the hottest team going into the last month of the season?
I feel like the Red Sox.
All right.
Red Sox, Astros. I honestly am stumped after those 2.
So I'll give you my top 5. You debate them with me.
I'll say this before you go. I could see the Dodgers heating up right now, just because. And this is my reason. They're 8-2 in their last 10.
Correct.
I can see them pulling off the NL West and then using that as their fuel and making a run. I don't know who else in the NL. I don't know how to word what I'm trying to say. Basically, Red Sox and Astros, I think one of them is going to win it all this year. I think whoever wins their matchup takes the whole thing.
I agree with you on that. I don't think the National League is going to win. I will say, to be honest, I completely agree. Red Sox 1, Astros 2. In my opinion, which this could obviously change very quickly, at 3 right now I have the Cubs. At 4 I have the Athletics, and at 5 I have the Dodgers. The Dodgers, based kind of what Zach just said. Yeah, that's, I guess, a little based on what I think they can do going down the stretch late in the year. But just based on the team and what they put on the fields, I mean, they have depth at every position. They're deep in arms. And like Zach said, I really expect them to get hot. Dave Roberts, good guy, local guy. Have a lot of faith in him. He has a lot of faith in his boys, and he thinks they'll turn it on late. And I tend to agree with him. I will say it's difficult not to include the Indians again, but I'm trying to think out of the box here, not just AL heavy, even though I do feel that is where a majority of the talent lies. But what I wanted to say was that the way the Diamondbacks have played, to come in at 12 was a little shocking to me. I know there is a lot of talent and a lot of teams playing great right now.
And real quick, Lou hit me up. He said his list: Boston, Oakland, Houston, Colorado.
I like Colorado as well. I really do. I mean, I had talked to you guys about that. I mean, yeah, they're up top right now. I don't necessarily think they'll hold that lead for the remainder of the season, but that's another team. They're a gritty team. They're built to win games. It doesn't necessarily mean it's going to be pretty every time, but they're a good ball club.
Real quick, before we do anything else, not including the last 10 games, not including necessarily even this season, although that's an aspect, what teams do you think do damage come playoff time, regardless of their current record? I think Sox, Houston, Indians, because the Indians, their bullpen alone makes them a beast of a contender once playoff time hits. Oakland, for the fact that they're the Red Sox weakness right now.
Yeah.
And if you're going to put the Sox at the top and the only team that's consistently beat them down is Oakland, you got to stick them in there somewhere. And then Cubs and Dodgers, I think, because all those teams find ways to win, especially come October. And that's just how it is.
So kind of what you just said is another reason why teams like the Brewers and Cardinals, who are playing excellent baseball right now, I don't think will make the cut. I just don't think there's enough room. With the new setup of the playoffs, the new divisions, it's just it's not necessarily the best way to do it. I mean, I think a couple teams in the NL West may be more deserving of teams in the NL East and the Central with that, if you want to go that deep. I mean, the Central's got the Cubs and the Brewers, who are both worthy of a playoff spot. But, I mean, to be honest with you, the NL West is kind of pulling the weight of the entire National League, aside from the long shot Braves this year. And, I mean, the Phillies are hanging around, like we had mentioned. As much as I want to believe that the Phillies will pull ahead, I don't think they will. Could be some late magic. That's very possible. It's still somewhat of a tight race there. But, I mean, other than the NL West, I think what you see in the standings is kind of what you're going to get come the end of the end of the regular season. It's tough because I think the Cardinals are great. Honestly, I think the way they're playing right now is like they always have been when it comes time to win games late in the year and in the postseason. I think it's just too little too late for them. What's Lou saying that's making you laugh?
I'm gonna let him call in.
Okay.
That's what I want. He's all in the chat. He said he's gonna dominate. Let's see it.
I don't know if I want this.
Wait, what?
I don't know if I'm ready for Lou.
All right, he's gonna call me now.
Let's see if we can get that one rolling.
Okay, you're gonna have to give him something to talk about, or else he's just gonna start talking about the way we look.
Probably.
Said FaceTime audio, Lou.
He said he'll take. He said he would like the binder and also the fathead, I think is what he was getting at.
The
Can I
fathead
ask
definitely
how
not.
he's talking to everyone?
I don't know. I don't know how you guys are getting all this.
Oh, hold on.
Whoa.
Whoa, what's up? All right. Can everyone hear Lou?
We can
You
hear him.
can't see me though, can you?
No.
Well, I can see you now.
Now you can see me?
No.
Oh, nope.
Now we can.
Great.
Now we cannot.
I just
Hold
see
on,
a
Lou.
frozen picture of your face.
Hold on, Lou. I'm gonna call you. Because Lou is kind of not the brightest kid in the world, apparently, Lou. So FaceTime audio it is.
Well, Joe, what do you do yourself?
Can you see me? Like, I can see you guys. I don't understand the problem.
Can you guys hear me?
Oh, Lou, I hear you, unfortunately.
I mean, I just want you guys to see me here.
I cannot see it.
Well, I mean, can you guys hear me? Are we good?
Yeah,
We can.
All right, excellent. So before I get into anything, I told Joe that Mike's beard looks like Easter basket grass. And that's what made him laugh.
All right,
But I'll get into the topic now. Love the topic. I think that going into October, if we're going to go in just postseason, I think that my personal opinion that Houston is probably the scariest going in due to their experience, due to their rotation, looking at teams that they might play, especially if they play the Yankees. Justin Verlander doesn't know how to lose to the Yankees. Justin Verlander has had, okay success versus the Sox. I just think that their pitching is going to last longer than the Red Sox will. We know Sale's history, even though he's only had a playoff one time, only one playoff. Chris Sale. But if that arm still worries me, and then you move on to Price, and Price is always a shakeup, Porcello's always a shakeup. And then you look at guys like Verlander, you look at McCullough Jr., you look at Garrett Cole, Morton, and Keuchel. That's just the rotation that worries me. And then this season, Houston's bullpen is at a 2.94 ERA. So that's something that worries me looking at Houston. It's no surprise, and it's no secret that their hitters are extremely dangerous, postseason especially. We saw last season. So in my opinion, Houston's probably the scariest team going into October. Oakland, I would say, is probably one of the hottest teams right now, if not the hottest team right now.
Yeah.
Their bullpen sits at a 3.6.
So there's a couple things I want to touch on for everybody. We need everyone to know that Lou runs the WTP New York page. So it is important to know that he would never pick the Red Sox as the scariest team. However, as much as it pains me to admit, I will openly admit that. Hold on. I will say that I will agree with you that Houston is the scariest team just based off of what they did last year and improving in the offseason. I will give you that, Lou. But go ahead. Now you can continue.
So Oakland worries me because it's a team that, first of all, I don't think anyone on that team has postseason experience. I'm saying hottest right now, it looks like Oakland. Going into October, though, I would definitely rank Boston above Oakland because Boston has the experience. They've been there. Granted, they've been knocked out the first round. I don't see Oakland as a team that's going to step to Boston. And the big thing people don't remember is Martinez wasn't on the team the last 2 years, and he joined this lineup and really changed the way that they hit the ball. And he's done a lot. And JD Martinez is, he's the kind of guy where postseason it's not gonna A-Rod him. He's not going to be great in the regular season and suck postseason. So Boston going into October, hitting-wise, is probably the second scariest. Bullpen and pitching, that's a toss-up because after Sale, it's a matter of can Price hold up? Can Porcello hold up? Can the bullpen hold up? Is Kimbrel going to come out and be a wild card? But with all those being said, I still wouldn't put anybody except for maybe Houston above Boston going into the postseason because of how hot they are, how hot they've remained to be. Something that people don't want to give credit to the Red Sox is, yeah, they win, but they find a way to win. They could be losing 3-1, and then you blink and it's 5-3. They'll make an A's have a horrible day because they get double, single, home run, double, single. They'll ruin you. So I would say the list probably going into my top 3 going into October would be Houston, Boston. I mean, I'm going to give it to Oakland just because I hate the way the Yankees are playing right now, and especially the fact that the Yankees there's a lot of questions going on with them. Is Judge going to come back? Even if he does come back, is he going to be the guy that they risk going to hold him back? Does Didi have to come back and go back to his October ways? How is Giancarlo Stanton going to be in the postseason because he's never been to the postseason before? So that's a toss-up. Is Severino going to be the first half pitcher or the second half pitcher? So I wouldn't rank them 4. If I had to put a 4th team in there going into October, I'd probably stay with Colorado just because they're playing amazing right now. Everything's clicking. They've been there before, so they would be my 4. And then my 5, if I had to go with top 5.
You go Dodgers or Indians here?
I'm sorry?
With 5, do you go Dodgers or Indians? Or somebody else?
If those were the only 2 options I had, I would go with the Dodgers because the Indians have proven time and time again they are choke artists in the postseason.
Okay,
I don't trust them in the postseason.
If those aren't the only 2 options,
I don't trust these guys in the postseason.
What about if those aren't the only 2 options, Lou?
Go ahead.
I said, what about if those aren't the only 2 options?
Honestly, then if I had to pick the 5, it would probably go to the Dodgers anyway. And then if I had to put a 6, I'd put the Yankees above the Indians based on last season, the way that they came back and beat the Indians. Plus, at the same time, I just don't trust the Indians I don't trust them in the postseason. They've proven me right time and time again that they have a solid team, they have a solid pitching lineup, they have a solid everything. But come postseason time, they just don't find a way to get to that big game. And the way that I'm basing this off last season because the postseason hasn't come yet. I would put the Yankees at 6. Now, if I'm going off of right now, if we're judging by right now, then you have to put the Indians above the Yankees, 100%. But I'm going off of what I've seen, what I know, and what I trust. And I would trust the Yankees above the Indians probably 4 out of 5 times postseason-wise.
All right, so Lou, we know you could talk all night about this, and quite frankly, I'd love to have you back on later this week. We have a lot more to continue talking about. But one of the things you mentioned that I really wanted to touch on, which is also in my trusty binder, one of the main things you talked about was bullpen arms. And right now, based on opponents' on-base average, the Astros bullpen by far is leading. The Athletics come in at 2. The Yankees, Dodgers, Cubs, and D-backs, Braves all come in before the Red Sox. So one thing you had talked about is, Sale's got a lot of question marks. Porcello, he's a toss-up right now. Price, we don't know how he's going to be doing once he comes back. But the best arm in the Red Sox bullpen right now is Ryan Brazier, and I'm not taking anything away from the kid. He's been lights out, balls to the wall this year, and he's come up big in some situations, and he's earned some prime innings. But I don't think that it is a comfortable feeling going into the postseason with a lineup like the Red Sox have, and Ryan Brazier being the best bullpen arm besides Craig Kimbrell. To me, I still think we should have pulled the trigger on some of the arms that were available at the deadline. I think we missed out on a lot. Not necessarily someone that would have fixed all our problems, but a guy like Familia, former Met, goes to Oakland. And, you see how deep their bullpen is now. He's not everything they got, but, guys like that, they got Fernando Rodney, another vet. Sean Kelly was a good pickup for them. Blake Trinan is having an incredible season. He's got a .91 ERA on the year. That's absurd. Another guy, Santiago Casilla, just someone you normally would not hear about as having a career year. Everything is going right for Oakland at the right times. And to me, that is scary. Like you said, the Red Sox offense does find ways to manufacture a win. But if they face a quality starter and they can't put some runs up, I don't like the idea of us having to rely on our offense to get some late inning runs and hope that our bullpen can.
That's why I would put Houston above the Red Sox. That's why I say Houston won.
And I would unfortunately have to agree with you. I do think the Sox have a better lineup, but Houston's is not far behind, and I think they could easily manufacture runs against our starters who are equal to, if not even a little a little less effective than Houston's entire rotation. So, I mean,
can I challenge that statement really quick?
Sure.
Just real quick question. Other than Betts and Martinez, would you really say the Astros lineup is less than the Red Sox offensively? Looking past Martinez, and looking past Betts, would you still compare Houston's to Boston? Would you still give Boston the advantage offensively?
See, that's tough. I feel like Houston's lineup is really similar to ours in a lot of ways. You know, it's tough up the middle of the infield. You know, I like Bogaerts. He's not a Carlos Correa. Correa was hurt a little bit of the year. Obviously, they have Altuve. I don't know. I really don't know because I think Benintendi in a lot of ways could equal out to a guy like Springer. Bregman, I mean, he's having a killer year, but I just don't know. I mean, I think guys like Brandon Phillips and Ian Kinsler are great pickups for the Red Sox, but by no means are they a Bregman or an Altuve or a Correa. I mean, that's a tough question. I don't know. Based off this season alone, I'd say the Red Sox lineup has to be given the advantage for now, but come postseason time, I would not want to pitch to the Astros as much as I would want to pitch to the Red Sox, if that makes sense.
It makes perfect sense. If I was a pitcher and I had to choose a lineup, honestly, I would take my chips against the Red Sox, and only because, I mean, again, looking past Betts and Martinez, you're not 100% sure what Benintendi. I mean, Benintendi has having a great year. Definitely having a great year. Swing's getting just better and better every time you look at it. The kid is going to be a superstar. But in my opinion, to me, he still strikes me as a what Benintendi are we going to get today? Are we going to get the 3 for 4, the 1 for 4, the 0 for 4? Like, I don't know. And comparing him, looking at the Astros lineup, Benintendi's a question mark for me. Jackie Bradley Jr. always finds a way to get hot toward the end of the season. He did it last year too. Had an unbelievable end of the year. He's having an unbelievable end of the year this year. I still wouldn't compare him to some of the Astros guys. I mean, again,
he sucks in the playoffs.
Looking past Martinez and Betts, like you said, you got to look at Correa, Altuve, Bregman. Even Evan Gattis finds a way to balk the ball around the postseason. Gurriel's a guy that you don't want to really mess with in the postseason. And then I'm drawn George Springer. George Springer to me, in my opinion, to be honest with you, I don't think he belongs. At least I don't think he should have started the All-Star game or played. To be honest, I don't think he should have been an All-Star. I'm gonna go right there. I don't think he should have been an All-Star. That's I can't talk. Don't think Springer should have been an All-Star. I mean, yeah, he's a great ball player, and he was a big part of that team in the postseason, and that's the only reason I'm going to give Springer the advantage over Benintendi and Bradley is because I watched him dominate in the postseason last year. Big reason he was the playoff MVP for this team. So he's a guy that I think helps looking past a lot of the Red Sox guys. Because, again, you don't know what Benintendi's going to show up. You don't know if JVC is going to keep the hotness in the postseason. You know what you're going to get out of Mookie Betts, but at the same time, postseason-wise, you're not 100% sure. JD Martinez is JD Martinez, but then you go to the infield, and it's like, I'm not going to take Devers over Bregman. I'm not going to take Bogaerts over Correa. I'm not going to take Ian Kinsler or Brandon Phillips, who are 36 and 34, 35 years old, over a younger and much more dominant and defending MVP, Jose Altuve. Gurriel, he's not having the same year he had last year, but again, looking him postseason, he did do what he had to do. So that's the only reason I'm going to give the Astros the advantage over the Red Sox offensively. I think that if you can, even if Betts and Martinez get a hit, if nobody else does, you can't win the game off of two guys. If the Astros pitching holds up the way that they have been and the way that they should.
All right, Lou.
I think it's interesting that it's interesting that this is even up for discussion because I agree that the Astros ceiling is so high, but we're putting them above a team that's going to play almost 3 weeks of the season after crossing 100 wins. It's really crazy that those are two really, really stacked teams. Like you can point out their faults and you can point out their strengths, but that's going to be a really good series.
It's two teams that make wins, so it's going to be interesting to see.
You're talking about the Astros team, but then the Yankees have a better record than the Astros. But there's no way I'm going to sit here and say the Yankees are better than the Astros, the Red Sox.
No, I agree. I'm saying the Astros have the highest ceiling.
Oh, okay, I got you.
So, Lou, here's my thing. I want this to continue. This is obviously something that we could talk about for another hour with ease. We have a ton more to talk about that I'm sure you'd be interested in. We're going to have another show later this week. Looking at Thursday, don't know what you boys' schedule looks like. Maybe even tomorrow if that works better. I don't know. But, Lou, we'd love to have you back to keep this going. There's a lot more that I want to get into tonight. We've really just brushed off the top of some stuff. But as always,
fun stuff coming later.
Yeah, baby, it's September baseball, and this is my favorite time of year. So, Lou, please come back this week. We have a lot more to talk about for sure.
You're more than welcome on the Wise Guys podcast anytime you guys want. Over WTP, Wise Guys podcast. Anytime you guys want to call in or be on the show, Spags and I'd love to have you on.
Well, thank you, my friend, and we'll look forward to getting a nice group conversation going. Maybe we'll get Spagsy on here if possible. Nice little 5-way video chat. I don't know if that would be even possible or if that would be even worth it. But we could do it. I mean, we definitely got some content that needs to be addressed, and some viewers that have been waiting for some shows for sure. So, like I said,
guys, have a great rest of the show, and I'll definitely be watching as long as I can. I got a long day ahead of me tomorrow, so I might sack soon.
All right, cool. Thank you, Lou. Love to have you back again this week. Talk to you soon, bud.
So maybe you guys can't see me anymore, but I guess we can probably wrap it up. People have had enough of my face anyway.
We haven't seen your face in a while, actually.
I know.
So yeah, guys, I'm good with wrapping this one up here. Definitely need a 9th episode sometime this week because, I mean, Lou could talk for an hour alone by himself. So if we're gonna have him back, we need some time. So we're gonna shoot to do another one this week, guys. Appreciate those who did stay up with us. Again, this will be posted tomorrow, so that if you weren't able to stay up, you can see that. And you'll have an idea of what next episode is going to look like. Weren't able to get many questions tonight, other than, of course, Lou, who was watching live and chiming in as we went. So we'll look to get some more heads up out there for the next episode, so we can get some of you guys' questions. Maybe tonight's episode sparked some thoughts for you. But guys, it's almost the postseason. This is it. This is what we've been waiting for. So I'm excited. We have a lot to get into the next couple weeks.
Brushed over standings talk today, but we have a lot of individual stuff to cover.
My binder is a thick binder.
Oh yes, we have a very big individual episode coming up.
Oh, that next one's gonna be heat.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, if we ever get to it.
No, we will. I'll do it without
consistency.
No apologizing next time. I promise. This week
we're gonna roll out episode 9 quickly, and the title is gonna be consistency.
Yes, it is. We already have episode 9 title. We have it here. For those that stayed up with us, you heard it here first. Episode 9, consistency, coming to you later this week. We'll finish.
Joe, run a promo code.
Ooh, yeah. On
T-shirt
top of that,
promo word consistency.
On top of that, I was gonna make a new shirt. It's gonna. I'm thinking comic relievers logo on the front, or it just says consistency with the logo on the back.
Perfect.
Yeah. It's gonna say consistency across the front. That's what we're gonna do.
The most consistent podcast around, baby.
Yeah, that's what we're gonna do.
All right, guys. Let's wrap this up. We got a lot to finish and a lot more to get into. Thanks for staying up with me, Joe. Thanks for making me stay up.
No problem.
But yeah, I'm good with ending it here. If you guys got nothing else, we will pick this up where we left off tonight later this week.
Only if Mikey's got the green for me to run over there real quick. Hey, but yeah, we'll finish this episode up.
Perfect.
No, I don't know what you're talking about.
All right. We'll